All right, here we go. This is Juho. And let's have another one of these, see where we go. And I thought this time, there's a couple of AI topics that I want to tackle, but before we go there, let's go a little bit into, let's say, old school territory, although it's not really that. But anyway, so I think, a lot of people I talk to are kind of intrigued, especially if they're not copywriters themselves. How do you actually make somebody change their mind? They're not even in the market, or even if they're in the market for something, how do you do? Is it magic, or is it, what is it that you do to have somebody change their mind? Well, you could say, and a lot of my colleagues say, that it's not really possible to change their mind. And I kind of agree. If you can only convert the ones that are, have a desire deep down. Maybe they are aware of it, maybe they're not, but we'll find out. But just to get a handle on this whole playing field, I like to talk about, there's three parts to it, and you need to sort of master all of them in order to make it happen. And one of them, maybe the easiest one, although it's not easy, is salesmanship. How do you relate yourself and your product or service so that people will want it, or that it boosts, their existing desire? So, second one is wordsmanship, what I call it, and a lot of people think that copywriting is mostly about that. How do you dress things in a certain way to appeal to people? But it's really the last phase, and in some ways the least difficult, unless you really hate writing. Of course, then it'll not be easy. But the third one is a doozy. I call it mind reading. And a lot of people talk about, doing your research. And of course, you need to know your market. You need to know your, target person, your avatar, and all of that stuff. And, you've probably heard a lot about that stuff. So we're not going to go there. But let me just go through these quickly and see if it makes sense. All right, hopefully you can see this. Successful written persuasion, mind reading, salesmanship, wordsmanship. So let's dive into mind reading a little bit. This is not like complete. I have insanely detailed versions of these for workshops and whatnot, but let's just go through some of these. Okay, you need to take into account, you need to sort of read the emotional state in which your prospect comes to you. Are they agitated? Are they frustrated? Do they have a problem that they must solve? Or is it just like, well, a mild problem? I'd like to have a little bit better life. Or what is it? You need to know that. And are they looking? Are they on their way up? Are they on their way down in terms of their emotional scale? There's dozens and dozens of different emotions, and a scale that people go up and down. What are their fears and objections? Even if they have a strong desire, they might have stronger fears and objections. How do you handle those? Or do you have to? Or sometimes you don't need to, because you would just have them kind of you would amplify those objections. All right, so what are their dreams and fantasies? What do they fantasize about in your topic? What's the paradise they're looking for? And what do they fantasize? Well, if just one thing were better, then I'd be in this paradise, or maybe a number of them. And do they believe in it, or is it just a fantasy? and what can you do to make it more concrete and palatable for them. And this is super important. What's already going on in their lives that has to do with the topic that you're kind of selling within? What's already going on? What's going on in their mind, in their emotions, in their immediate vicinity, in their company, or in their family, or in their sports team, or in their city, whatever. Whatever is relevant to the offer here. What needs to stop? What needs to start in their life? You know, they may be so overwhelmed with something that's going wrong and it just needs to stop. And if you can touch on that, then you're golden. You've got their attention. What would change everything if it changed for them? And if you can bring that change, then, you know, you've got their attention. So you have to find a way, your own way, to do your mind reading, and different marketers and business people have their different ways, but those who are, you know, doing successful project after project, they found their way. So that's super important. And I've actually got a book half written on that. So if you feel like that's the most important or most difficult thing to do, then watch for that space. Now, salesmanship, there's a lot. I mean, this is, you know, there's future pacing. You know, how's your future going to look like once you step on the right path towards success and whatnot. What is the irresistible offer that actually gives them the confidence that, yeah, I need to do this. I need to pay this small amount of money to get a big result. How do we really catch their attention in a tactical kind of way? Calls to actions, and, you know, of course, there's tons of things in salesmanship that needs to go right. And then there's the wordsmanship. You know, are you eliciting the right emotion, and how do you do that? Are you beginning your pitch by telling a relevant story that sort of pulls them in? Do you have believability dialed in, or are you just making claims? Are you using the right power words, adverbs and adverbials and whatnot? Are you getting the rhythm and cadence down? This is something you basically have to, you know, find out as you go along. And are you triggering the right psychological triggers? And you can't do them by copying everybody else, because you have to understand your actual, you know, otherwise you're going to sound, you know, a little hypey. You have to understand what they are. And this is something I'm going to be talking about in the near future. Relationship triggers. They are, yes, they are psychological triggers, but they are the kind of things that you need to sort of embed into your, let's say, your emails, in your social media, wherever you choose to communicate, so that people will actually pay attention, you know. And it's not that far removed from you know, personal relationships, but that's something you need to learn. How do you guide them? How do you take them by the hand? How do you guide them towards something that they need, and make them understand that this needs to happen? And this is a strange pairing, hyperbole and underplay. By hyperbole, I don't mean that you need to say something that's untrue or become hypey. What I mean is you accentuate the positive and you downplay the negative, and the effect is a kind of an increasing feeling of, okay, there's something in here, and I need to keep reading or watching the VSL or whatever it is, because you're starting to get increasingly this feeling that there's something amazing here. So that was a sort of a quick run through of these three, and each of them are huge And if you're going to have, if you want to have mastery in this whole field, you need a bit of salesmanship. You need to have a lot of mind reading, and a good deal of wordsmanship. Some people have more of one of them and they make it work, and some people have less. So, but you know, some mix of these three, and you'll have mastery, and you can do anything you want in business, basically. So yeah, that was something I wanted to just get a start on today. And there's so much within these. We'll go into, for instance, the relationship triggers and a bunch of that mind reading stuff later on. It's got a lot to reveal. All right. So thanks for watching. See you again soon.